Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to almost the end of this book. I'm actually saving the last two parts for later in the week, just because it took me a little longer to read Swords of the Purple Kingdom. For some reason, I was just falling asleep reading it, and it had nothing to do with the story. It was actually a fine story, even if it was a little bit too similar to Delcarte's Cat and By This Axe I Rule, in which King Kull once again is playing matchmaker to a man and a woman who want to get married, but the rules say no, they can't get married because it's, I guess, a theme in Kull. It really wasn't a theme in Conan. People just did whatever the hell they wanted, but I think he was, reusing the same plot devices because of reasons. And mind you, this story, Swords of the Purple Kingdom, was never actually published during his lifetime. According to this, it wasn't published until this book in 1967, the same year I was born, I think. I don't know, I have to double check. Trivial details like that kind of slip my mind after a while. But it was pretty fun. People are plotting against him, and he can sense it, and he just wants to put a stop to it. And in doing so, he ends up getting kidnapped and taken to, just so happens, the same place that the young couple plan to meet up before they elope and leave the kingdom. And of course, Kull is beset on all sides by like a score of different adversaries who all want to try and kill him and put somebody else on the throne. Kind of anorexic in some of those reused ideas, but the young man actually comes to Kull's rescue and helps him fend off the damn near a company of mercenaries and cutthroats who want to do him in. And the girl's father is what's keeping them from getting married. And when Kull explains how this young man, essentially made it possible for him to survive, he acquiesces, and I believe that the two live happily ever after. The second story, which was, let me go back, because it wasn't very long, but I want to say it was one of the better written stories in this book, which means it was probably written by Lynn Carter. Maybe, I don't know, because it doesn't really seem all that Howard-esque, but it's Wizard and Warrior, where Kull and Brule and another young nobleman are, Kull and Brule are playing this game like chess with wizards and warriors on a game table in ivory pieces, and the young nobleman is watching, and he's just there. I don't even know why. And it comes down to Kull's got a wizard and Brule's got a warrior, and it reminds Brule of a story that he goes in and tells about his first war party expedition, where somehow Brule, trying to be enthusiastic and wants to get his war scars, gets ahead of the war band and runs smack dab into the awaiting, wizard that's leading the opposing Pictish army. And the wizard's, casting spells at Brule, and Brule's father's iron sword is somehow blocking and fending off the spells, because it's not really a magic sword. It's just a very expensive sword, unlike any of the other swords in the Pictish Isles, because his father bought it from a trader a long time ago, and it's kind of rusty, and but it still keeps I guess cold iron, I don't know, cold iron caster out there you want to explain that to us. I think it's just more, misinterpreted superstitions and things like that. And Brule and the wizard, going back and forth, and eventually Brule defeats the wizard, and he also defeats Kull in the game because Kull has got a soft spot for warriors, and didn't really know how to use his magic user piece in the game, which kind of reminded me of a bunch of games we all play. And so he congratulates Brule and orders some more wine and another game. It's actually a fun, charming little story of all about 8 pages, but really, really well written, and one of the highlights of this book, which I'm glad, it was toward the end, and there's one more story and one more poem left in this book, and I know I'm milking it, folks, but I was expecting some other Atlantean items and Atlantean discussions for this month, but we'll try and do better next month or next year when we do this again. But I still have more Kull. I still have another Atlantean discussion planned for this week, as well as some more Planet of the Apes. But the Planet of the Apes are going to run into December, so I'm not going to rush too much into that. But we do have more or less a full week of November and Atlantean Autumn to play around with. But that's what I've got for you guys this morning. It's Monday. The boys on vacation, so we're going to go do some stuff. Maybe hang out with DM James and the usual suspects. But I hope you guys have a great week. And if nobody said this to you, happy Thanksgiving ahead of time. And I will see you guys all in the funny papers.